Sometimes you just have to face the music. Good morning, I'm Rock 107's Prospector. Friday night, I was broadcasting live at Reaper's Revenge, and a guy named Harrison strolled up. He said, "Hey, Prospector, my name's Harrison. I got a bone to pick with you." All right, look, I'll admit, it wasn't exactly the conversation I was dying to have, but, I'm all ears. I dish out complaints on the air all the time, so it's only fair. I got to take a dose of my own medicine. So I say, sure, what's on your mind? And Harrison fired back, questioning why I'd show up at Reaper's if I supposedly despise Halloween and consider it pagan and all around bad. Okay, first things first, let's clear the air. I never said I hate anything just because it's pagan. I'm not about being anti-pagan or against any pagan-related things. Quite the opposite, actually. I'm all for paganism and the wonderful holiday traditions that they've brought along with them. But Halloween? Yeah, that's a different story. It's not my cup of tea. I've got an aversion to scary stuff that runs deep. Even the commercials for horror movies give me the heebie-jeebies. Simply saying or hearing the word Saw? Forget about it. The first thing that conjures up in my mind is images from those films, and then I get nightmares. Honestly, I do. I'm a bona fide scaredy cat. Masks, face-obscuring get-ups? No thanks. Mascots and clowns, they fall into that same category of nope. If you hide your face, I don't want your face in mine. Costumes and dress-up, it kind of makes me squirm. That whole make-believe world, it just doesn't sit right with me. But here's the thing. It's not for me. But if it's your jam, more power to you. I'm not here to rain on your parade. Have at it. Go nuts. Just don't expect me to join in. So I laid it out for Harrison. Why am I here at Reaper's? I support what they're doing. They're employing a bunch of folks, injecting some much-needed cash into Northeast PA, and they've got their act together. Plus, they're loyal sponsors here at Rock 107, so that's a big check mark in their favor, too. Harrison said, "Gotcha. I misunderstood your thing about scary stuff." Good guy, that Harrison. But let me just tell you, getting up that hill to the entrance of Reaper's Revenge, that's an ordeal in itself. I spend most of my time at Reaper's with my head on a swivel or my back plastered against the Rock 107 van, doing my best to avoid those creepy ghouls they got strolling around the place to try to scare people. Basically, I'm on edge the entire time I'm at Reaper's. I'm twitchier than a meth head, sweating like a sinner in a sermon, just praying I can make it out of there without soiling my pants.
Breaking the news that's already broken. It's time for Prospector's Briefs on Rock 107.
In Oklahoma, a woman was hit and killed by a plane while mowing her lawn. Hey, it's her own fault for letting it grow that high. An alarm will go off on everyone's phone tomorrow at 2:20 p.m. Eastern. Damn it, you two, what are you up to this time? Today is the first day of the Major League Baseball playoffs, or as my New York Yankees call it, Dancing with the Stars night.
Prospector ruins everything, even the news. Tune in tomorrow for Prospector's Briefs on Rock 107.
Office Friday, and while I was there in the waiting area, I started reading one of their magazines. It was about cycling and health, and I'm a big cyclist, so great. I found an article about training for a Century ride, which is a 100-mile ride, and that's something I want to do next year. So I tore it out of the magazine, folded it up, and stuck it in my pocket. The receptionist saw me do it, and she called me out for it. She scolded me for ruining their magazine. So, am I a jerk? KJ on Facebook says, "I gotta say, I'm sure if you asked, they would have made a copy, or you look up the article on your phone for later. That's what you do. You don't just take it. Yeah, you're a jerk." Jeff says, "Take the magazine with you, the whole thing. You pay enough for an office visit. The least they can do is give you a parting gift. You're not a jerk this time." What do you think? Am I a jerk?
I don't think you're a jerk.
No, you think it's okay move?
Yeah. You pay enough to go in that doctor's office, you might as well take one of their piece of paper, you know what I mean?
Take one of their papers with you when you walk out of there, right? Lola says you're not a jerk, but you're funny as hell. And Ginny on Angry Prospector, Facebook.com/Angry Prospector says, "Yeah, I'm sure they would have copied it for you. Or you take a picture with your phone. It's not your property, and you'd be PO'd if someone did something like that to you." Maybe. Am I a jerk?
Hey, Prospector, was that the only magazine in the place?
No, there were tons.
Well, then I don't think you're a jerk this time. I think the lady was a jerk, 'cause really...
Yeah, you shouldn't be scolding me like that. What's the matter with you? Vincent says, "You know what? Yeah, no question about it. You're a jerk." And Mike, hey, kinda. You should have just taken a pic with yourself. Everybody's saying that, but then I got to zoom in and read it and put it on like my iPad or something. That's why I just took the article. Am I a jerk? Rock 107.
Prospector,
Yeah.
you really have to ask. Of course you're a jerk. You can't go ripping articles out of books in the friggin' face like that. Come on. You know it's wrong, man. You're nuts. You know that? That's why I love you, brother. You're nuts.
Well, thank you for loving me, even though I may be a jerk. In the question today of am I a jerk for ripping a magazine article out at the doctor's office, folding it up and sticking it in my pocket, the consensus is, yes, I'm a jerk.
107.
A 17-year-old girl in Ohio named Megan Crafty missed her senior homecoming dance to have a brain tumor removed. The hospital she was in, Cleveland Clinic, threw another homecoming dance just for her and her boyfriend. The best news is she's done with rehab and doing great. Her hometown also threw her a homecoming parade when she came back last month.
Thanks. We needed that. The brighter side of Prospector on Rock 107.
You can't opt out of this. Kind of like those scam texts about student loans or shipments you didn't get. Good morning, I'm Rock 107's Prospector. Tomorrow, FEMA and the FCC are throwing a shindig, and not only are you invited, you're pretty much forced to attend. They're like, look, America, we're going to test your emergency alert system, whether you like it or not. FEMA and the FCC are all coordinated like they're staging a massive event of some kind. Yeah, they're coming at you from all angles. It's like they're tested if we're all still alive and kicking. So tomorrow, October 4th at 2:20 p.m., your phone's going to start shrieking like a hyena, courtesy of the wireless emergency alert. They're going to hit you with the message. This is a test of the National Wireless Emergency Alert System. No action is needed. Just imagine you're in the middle of something important, and then boom, your phone's like, hey, we're just making sure you're still awake. Yeah, you might need some emergency counseling after that. Oh, and they're giving us the option to choose English or Spanish. Great, but if you're running from a disaster, I doubt you're stopping to read the language settings on your phone. Well, hold on, Tornado. Let me just make sure this alert matches my preferred language. Now, for the old school crew, you know, the ones without smartphones and such, guess what? It's going to happen on radio and TV too. Yeah, you're getting your own special message. It'll say, this is a nationwide test of the emergency alert system issued by the Federal Emergency Management Agency covering the United States from 1420 to 1450 hours Eastern Time. This is only a test. No action is required by the public. Oh, thanks. Thanks for the heads up. I'm pretty sure my TV's not going to leap out the window in a panic, so I'm not worried about that, I guess. Oh, and if they mess up on October 4th, or if Mother Nature's having a bad day, or someone doesn't throw the right switch, something like that, they got a backup date on October 11th. But here's the kicker. The whole shebang is just to make sure that when something really does go down, we're not all standing around like deer in the headlights. They want to make sure we're all on the same page, ready to roll, and not completely caught off guard when the real deal hits. So get ready to have your phones vibrating like John Bonham doing a drum solo, or your TV yelling at you like it's auditioning for a horror flick. I'm just waiting for the director to yell action. It's going to be a blockbuster.
What's a yam bag? A fool, an idiot, a blockhead, a dunce, you know, a dullard, simpleton, or a clod, nitwit, dipstick, pea-brain, mouth breather, or numbskull.
It's now time to announce the winner of Prospector's Yam Bag of the Day, as decided by you at rock107.com.
Here are the nominees. Nominee number 1.
Have you got your Halloween costume picked out yet? Looks like this person hit Spirit Halloween early this year. A state trooper in Washington state posted a pic after someone was caught using the carpool lane with a Halloween mask strapped to their passenger seat. They looped it around the top, draped a vest around the seat to make it look more like a person. But unless you just glanced at it, it wouldn't fool anyone. I found the mask online, and Spirit Halloween does sell it. It's a white mask with a glowing orange wire across the mouth, so it looks like the lips are sewn shut. The driver was cited for an HOV violation in Washington. The minimum fine is $186, and if it's not your first offense, it's $336.
Nominee number 2.
People who walk around staring at their phones are called smartphone zombies, but we don't have real ones yet. A 30-year-old guy named Austin Geiger is facing charges after he broke into a Border Patrol office in Washington state and stole supplies because he thought he was in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. Now, it's not clear if he was on drugs or something, but he has a long rap sheet full of felonies, including a drive-by shooting 2 years ago. On August 28th, he got inside a Border Patrol office near the Canadian border and took a gun, ammo, bulletproof vests, pepper spray, and a radio. A Border Patrol agent found him in an office around 1 in the morning after an alarm went off. When they got there, he was wearing the body armor and an official Border Patrol jacket. He told them he was gathering supplies to protect himself because he thought a zombie apocalypse had hit. He's facing charges for theft of government property and unlawful possession of ammunition.
And the winner is
the guy who stole Border Patrol equipment to prep for a zombie apocalypse. Just because you've seen it on TV doesn't mean it's the real thing or will happen ever. You are the Yam Bag of the Day, and we'll move on to Friday's Yam Bag of the Week competition. Keep it here for all the nominees for Prospector's Yam Bag of the Day, weekday mornings on Rock 107. Thanks for listening to Prospector's Prime Cuts podcast. Be sure to catch us live weekdays from 5:30 to 10 a.m. on Rock 107 or online at rock107.com or the Rock 107 app, a free download for your Android or iPhone. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, or wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss Prospector's Prime Cuts.